Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to What's Good America, man. I am number 98 in your program, number one in your heart. I am Chris Dot Turner from the University of Alabama. We, we got some things to talk about tonight. I had to come in with that introduction more so than the rest of them because I mean that's the person who has to explain tonight. This ain't Puddin'. This ain't Duval County. This is number 98 in your program, number one in your heart. I just got we got to get that out tonight. But I brought some guys in here who have found it in their heart to give me this platform to explain myself. These rational, educated, forgiving Black men are willing to allow me to explain the coach of coaches tonight, James Big Game Truman State Walton the third, my co-host, the co-host of them all.
He put a big emphasis on that Truman State just for the info, didn't he? Taking them shots early.
Because I won't be able to take them in a minute. And another young man from a prestigious university from the Nick Saban coaching tree, the illustrious Michigan State University, which has its own scandals going on by itself. Director Michael A. Bazemore. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast of What's Good America. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, but I just want to say the fact, Baconator, the fact that he said illustrious, you'll never hear that again.
Yeah. He's trying to butter people up.
I mean, hey, Chris, if you're going to butter us up, at least use that butter from Texas Roadhouse. Use that cinnamon joint because, you know, that goes hard on them rolls now. You know you show up to Texas Roadhouse for that cinnamon butter.
I just feel like I don't really know why we on tonight. So I'm just here. Here.
I think you should talk about why this is going to probably be one of our fastest releases. I'm going to let you explain it because
all right.
As we were talking off camera, I purposely have not listened to one pundit talk about what came across my phone this morning. So, Chris, because it has to do with your alma mater and it's your football Jesus that you're going to have to speak about here, why don't you let America know what happened? We can figure out what's really good.
Well, today, Mr. Saban made some unflattering comments about the NIL. Those of you who don't know what the NIL, it's the name, image, and likeness. And he said that Texas A&M bought their number one class, which infuriated Jimbo Fisher. I'm gonna keep the hands down because I can't have the Alabama ring show at all on this one. Which infuriated Jimbo Fisher, which to make Jimbo Fisher, mind you, Jimbo is a part of the illustrious coaching tree of Coach Saban, Saint Nick, for those of you who are in the loop. To make Jimbo come back and say, essentially, bruh, where you think I get it from? We didn't do this. Like, we come from an honest school, and Texas A&M wouldn't do this, but I know certain coaches who would. All to point the finger at Mr. Saban. And then Saban continued to go on and say, all right, the number one player in the country who went to a HBCU, they bought him with $1 million from Barstool Sports. Mind you, you just in a commercial with Deion Sanders. I haven't checked to see if Deion fired back yet, because if he did, I haven't checked it yet. But the kid went on to say, all right, well, if I got $1 million, why is my mama still sleeping in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 people? Which that's somebody wouldn't lie about. So all fingers right now in the national media has been taken away from the Boston and Miami series. and has now been pointed smack down in Central Alabama and Tuscaloosa. And my 4 or 5 years of multiple degrees and are allowing me to put this as eloquent as I can possibly put it and say, man, I don't know what the fuck going on. Like Nick, like dude, like I don't know what to tell you. I mean, here's the thing. The name of this show is gonna be called "It Ain't No Fun When the Rabbit Got the Gun." Listen, you don't. It's an old adage, like it's old verbiage. Like you, it's easier to keep a secret when only one person knows. So if you go in and rob a bank, and you got 4 or 5 dudes with you who know how you rob the bank, then that's 4 or 5 people who can point the finger at you. I.e., if you got a coaching tree that is pretty much all of the SEC West, some of the Big Ten, some of the Pac-12, and who were with you with some of these championships, it's not a secret that California and Alabama don't really mix. So to get a kid, the #1 quarterback, to come from California all the way to Alabama and move his whole family, and they all Hawaiian, but yet they want to go to school in Central Alabama for some reason, you can kind of point the finger when you got a 6'3", 260-pound running back who was literally 30 minutes away from the University of Florida, who had P. Ryan at that time, so he had no competition. You found him to leave Florida, a suburb of Jacksonville, mind you, to go all the way to Alabama, which means he passed Florida State, who didn't have a running back at that time. I think, no, they might have had Cam Akers at that time. Florida didn't have a running back. Miami really didn't have anybody of note. Georgia didn't have anybody of note. To go all the way to Alabama.
Dalvin Cook was there.
That was Cook then. So Cook may have been on the way out-ish.
Yeah, I
but
think
to have Cook,
they're about the same timeline, I think. Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry.
But to have Cook and King Henry at that time would have been monstrous.
You probably could have won a title. You could have got to a Final Four with that, i.e. see Georgia with Jake Fromm at quarterback.
So, Nick, your biggest flaw in this one is that you calling out people who were with you shooting in the gym. Like, these dudes know where the bodies are buried. They know where the checks got signed. These ain't the guys you want to mess with. All right, Jimbo got his win. Cool, fine, awesome. All right, leave him alone. Like, go back, beat the crap out of him this year. Leave it alone. Like, stop. Like, they know where the bodies are buried. Like, listen, I'm already having to defend myself way too much. I've been tagged 1,000 times on Facebook in just everything.
Well, we want to thank all of our good fans for tagging and letting the co-founder of the What's Good America movement know that, hey, they have been paying attention to it. Not only talking trash offline, but also in these video moments that have not gotten a lot of viral views. So I would urge anybody that's looking into this, as Chris Turner, I know, is already going to make sure this is seen by as many people as possible. You might want to go back and look some of our past work. Check out Spotify. He has had years of mentioning the University of Alabama into every conversation as he tries to shit on me with R. Kelly. I'm going to cut you off. Normally,
Please.
I would say Bays go, but I think Bays can have some middling ground because of his knowledge with the NIL deals. Not so much, an effect that it's really happening on the D2 level, because I don't really see that a whole lot. But I know he understands the whole concept of it, just with his experience with compliance. I want to say this. And we're going to see videos come out of sequence. I am so sick and tired of grown-ass men breaking codes. I'm done with this. What has happened to this country? Like, I'm serious. Like, listen. You're going to see in a video that will probably be posted after this, and I had talked about it before. I talked about August Alsina breaking the code. That's what started all this. Okay, he broke the code. Do not break the code. Bays, you know the code. You and I personally have experience with the code. That's why we are still friends to this day. You understand what I'm
Larry
saying?
Smoother.
So all I'm saying is, Bays, when I say the code, it's personal for me and Bays. This is one of my best friends. And we
Larry
understand.
Smoother and
We
Darrell
understand the
Huntington.
code. There's a way to handle the code. And when you handle it wrong, you make sure that, hey, stays in house. Stay in house with it. And we solve it together.
That's it. That's it.
But when you want to put everybody on blast, and then here's the thing, and this is what's killing Chris Turner. This is what's doing it. It'd be one thing, and this is what I really want to talk about. It's one thing if he's going after Jimbo. I'm good with that because that's your day. You got to deal with Jimbo every year.
Right.
And Jimbo's younger than you.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M, quiet as kept, looks like they're going to win the Texas war. They've outlasted Baylor. Nobody wants to go play for Texas anymore, which is crazy. And Jimbo has the arsenal that he needs. He's got, technically, multiple Heisman Trophy wins.
Technically.
Okay. He's got the Super Bowl ring now with Mike Evans. Okay. He's already got Johnny Manziel that already broke the code because he messed up his own money. Okay. But at the end of the day, he also has the ultimate cheat code is I beat Nick Saban with a quarterback nobody's ever even heard of. And everybody saw that. I beat him with his own medicine. I beat him with 2 running backs, and I had a quarterback not make a lot of mistakes, and I had some defensive players make some plays. I have shown that Texas A&M can win this thing. We can win the West. The truth of it is, to me, is when you attack Deion Sanders, you attack all Black people. I'm sorry. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay? Deion Sanders, God bless him, the fact he's still at Jackson State. Because we all know Florida State threw the bag at him. We know they threw the bag at it after they just went 11-1. They're like, oh, Prime can coach. Yeah, no shit, he can coach high school kids. He's been around them for the last 10 years. He literally was doing NFL Game Day or doing the NFL version of ESPN, and then he was going to coach his kids. They were showing Deion Sanders on national television coaching Shadir's high school. And why are you going after him? Because Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders. What Black kid doesn't want to go play for Deion Sanders where he is? I would go play for Deion Sanders. I don't think there's anybody in this conversation that wouldn't have taken that official visit and listened to Prime talk. And then you go look at his staff, and every single one of his staff members had great careers in the NFL. And then he's bringing in T.O. here. And then he can bring in Ed Reed here. And then he can bring in Jerry Rice here, who happens to be from Jackson, Mississippi, which is crazy. This dude he has a different bag. And I think he said it eloquently, perfectly. His response was, Travis Hunter did not need me to give him $1 million. Like, our people don't need $1 million to recruit our people. We just have to preach our message. That was Deion Sanders' response. That's what he put out. Now, mind you, I know for a fact, this fact is a James fact. Jackson State has some alums. Let's call.
Oh, yeah. There's money there.
Okay. I'm not going to be like I'm up and I know all the famous great Black men and women that have come from there that have become millionaires and gazillionaires. But that's the thing that we've had Uncle Julian come on this show and explain. We know why the Black colleges are what they are. This show has laid out a blueprint for why they don't succeed in sports the way or do things. This show has done a lot for our community. You just got to watch it. Sometimes you're not going to agree with what to say. See the show that comes out after this. You're not going to like some of the stuff that's going to come out. So I'm just going to be 100. That's why we brought Bays on for this show. But this is sour grapes, Chris. And I told you this. I told you that this was coming to an end. Because Dabo figured him out. And I give him all the credit in the world for winning the coronavirus national championship. I do. But this is it. He's beatable. It's his way or the highway.
Right.
There are still some very, Bays, should I use authoritarian ways that he handles? Is that the phrase I should use? Because I want to be careful, you know. I don't want to disrespect the entire Alabama fan.
What you want to you want to say overseer? You want to say overseer? Is that the word you want to go with?
I think overseer is pretty good too. And then I've seen disciples from that school come out, and yeah, maybe they have some principles, but they clearly seem to be doing things a slightly different way, and they're getting results very quickly. They are. Mel Tucker's going to be a problem. That's going to be annoying for me for as long as he's there. I didn't even call like, when I think we got a shot is when I talk trash to Bays. I didn't say a word to Mike Bays. All we talked about was Kenneth Walker should have been in New York. All we talked about was Kenneth Walker the fourth all year. Listen, Athens, Georgia is like the cheat code. Mike Bazemore wanted to visit down there. Didn't you visit Athens?
No, they wanted me to play tight end. I said, yeah, I'm not playing tight end.
Okay.
Had I known that was a tight end factory, or had I been more aware and knowledgeable about the NFL pipeline, I probably would have made a different decision just from the scouting alone. Scouts go to certain schools, so during the time frame that I played, you had Ohio State, you had Notre Dame, the Georgias, so Miami, obviously during that time. And so in terms of if you wanted to have a blueprint to get to the NFL, I can write a book on that. I can help you get there if you got the skills, you got the production.
So to piggyback off that with Georgia, here's what's also killing them. See, and I feel like maybe Kirby's tapping into this. If he's not, he should listen. We all know this. How close is Athens to Atlanta?
2 hours, 2.5. Yeah.
It might be closer than that. That's my point. Atlanta's the black capital of the world. Okay? That's easy to attract the black man where they go, you know what? Hey, listen.
You can go home.
At the end of the day, Athens gets a little crazy for you. We'll make sure we got some people that'll take care of you. Right there in Atlanta that are alums, and they'll look out, especially with these NIL deals going on. So people like there's schools that have caught up to them. Okay, that A&M factor, you got that. That's a big Dallas factor because A&M's right there in Dallas. Austin's kind of its own thing, but A&M's right in Dallas. That's a big deal. That matters, and these kids are going, man. At the end of the day, now I'm getting this guap. Do I want to spend it in Tuscaloosa?
Well,
or do I want to go up the street?
Let me give you this. And Bays, then I want you to hop in. So A&M College Station, I've taken a visit to College Station. It's nice, all that. Went to school in Alabama and all that good stuff. The best thing that's happening right now that nobody's really taking note of, I think, Walt, you kind of mentioned it, and I've seen like a couple of memes about it. The best thing that's happening right now is Kirby has not said a word, one way or another.
Because he don't want to go down that road. That's actually the road he can't go down. He can mess with Jimbo, but he can't go.
And that's the whole thing. Like it works twofold because yeah, Jimbo was with you for a minute. Whatever. But if Kirby opens his mouth, the entire conference is done. because if Kirby opens his mouth, well, that implicates Lane Kiffin, that implicates Jimbo, Nick, of course, implicates Georgia, it implicates Tennessee. Well, I guess because Buddy's gone now. Well, it implicates Florida, like it implicates too many people. So the best thing that's happening right now, and it's the best case thing and the worst case thing for Alabama, regardless of what Kirby does. Because if he says something, then it implicates everybody. If Kirby doesn't say anything, all Kirby is going to do is just take in all these recruits that's going to give like Alabama just that second, like, do I really want to? Not knowing that Georgia pretty much is the same type of program, but because your coach ain't dry snitching, it kind of is what it is. So Kirby is doing the best possible thing for the conference and for his program. Go ahead, Baze.
The funny thing about Nick Saban's comments is he's saying that he had players that benefited off NIL deals, but they did it the right way. What's the right way, Mr. Saban? Because it's governed by the states. There is no overarching NCAA NIL guideline. So what's the right way? That's number one. Number two, you can't have it both ways. You can't make over $10, $12 million, then get upset when the young men that you are leading figure out and are aware that, hold on, you're making X amount of dollars off the production off of us. Why can't we have some of that money? So is he upset because the resources are coming from boosters? So is he upset that the booster money is now going toward the players as opposed to the school? The school has gotten so much money off of the years. The facilities arm race has been in place for a good decade. So he's complaining about what? This is how the game has shifted. Similar to college basketball, the one and done rule. You are hired to coach. Figure out how you coach within how the environment is going. So stop complaining and figure it out. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I'm worth X amount of dollars, then complain at the way that the sport is governed. I guarantee you that Nick Saban has had an integral part and has had a voice in everything when it comes to college football. Trust me. Ain't nothing going down without Nick Saban having a say, either intentionally or behind the scenes with his AD Greg Byrne. So come on now, Mr. Saban. You got to really break this down. Like, you have a say in some of these things now. You may not agree with the final decision, but you did have a say so.
Let me say this. I feel you're right. You're 1,000% right. Like I said, I don't really have a leg to stand on in this entire argument. I'm just going to try to tread water as much as possible to save face. So you're right. You're 1,000% right, because when it comes to these NIL deals, regardless of however you get it, man, I salute you. Hey, get your money, whatever it is. I wish these deals would have been around, because I would have been wearing like a Crystals jersey under my jersey during the game. Shout out to Crystals, Shoney's, Golden Corral, and everybody would have sponsored me, because I'd have been all there for it. Either way, I think what he's referring to, and I can't speak for him, but I got to. What he's referring to is, like, listen, he had it so that, all right, you come to Alabama, you play well, then you get a deal. Or you play very well in high school and let your talent get you the deal. I think he's saying that Jimbo is enticing these guys to come to school. Like, listen, you sign with me, I'll make sure you get Texaco as your NIL deal. But you got to sign with me. So it's like that dangling the bait. Like, as soon as you sign, you got Texaco. Instead of, all right, you come here, you play, or whatever deal you come with. Now, granted, Nick is doing the same thing. It's just his probably isn't as flamboyant as some of the deals in Texas. Because let's call a spade. The most money outside of like California, especially for football, is Texas. Like, by far. And like Texas may have California when it comes to just money that's invested into football. So for the University of Texas to be the highest grossing school or whatever, for Texas, the state not to have anybody represented in the Final Four whatsoever, of course the low money bag gonna come out of nowhere and just be like, hey, listen, whatever it takes, Jimbo, I got you. Please, Mr.
But they were doing that before. When
I
it came to
agree. You were right.
facilities
You're right.
And
You're right.
everything else. So
Like I
just
said,
because the game
I'm
has
just trying to
remixed, the
save
game
face.
is still a game.
I'm just trying to save face. I'm just trying to put a positive spin on all this. I'm just trying to save face. Go ahead, Walt.
March 5th,
Oh my God.
2022. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young nets NIL deal with BMW of Tuscaloosa. Despite his head coach's ties to Mercedes, Bryce Young is rolling with another German automobile dealership. Saturday night, the Alabama quarterback announced an NIL deal with BMW of Tuscaloosa on his Instagram page. Young is one of college football's highest paid athletes, netting deals with Cash App, Subway, and Logan's Roadhouse.
Shout out to
Logan's.
Logan snuck themselves in there.
Hey, big shout out to Logan's. They are all right. So
Entering his Heisman winning season last year, the quarterback had already earned close to $1 million in sponsorship. NIL is something we all knew Coach Saban has told us was just kind of an external fact. So for us, when you enter the building, no one's thinking about NIL. No one's thinking about stuff outside. It's not something we're talking about or consumed about. This is a quote from the Heisman Trophy winner from this year. That's just an external factor for us, especially when you step into the building. There hasn't been discussion about it. We're all engaged and locked in on what's important. That's winning games. So anytime we're in the facility, that's all we're concerned with. Nick Saban quoted as saying, I think it's a good thing that players now have an opportunity to work and make money, name, image, and likeness. This is Nick Saban on National Signing Day of this year. I would hope we come up with some system in the future where, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I don't think players should make a decision about where to go to school relative to how much money they're going to make and name, image, and likeness. I think all the players on our team who made money in name, image, and likeness this year had representation on their own, and all those deals were created on their own base, on their brand and what they did.
So he's steadfast on what he's saying. Like he's steadfast on it, but now he's just dry snitching a little bit on top of it. So he's staying
I don't know
what he's saying.
You heard from what I read, but you know what I heard? Oh, it's all good the way I do it.
What I heard was
I know
Oh,
what
my
you
goodness.
heard.
what I heard.
I
was-
know what you heard. I don't even want to hear what you heard. I'm
What?
telling you what I heard.
What I
Because-
heard out of what you read was that, listen, we got to focus on winning and we got to make sure that we play the game the correct way. NIL deals are great, but make sure that you're getting these NIL deals the correct way.
And you
That's
do know Bryce Young had his NIL deals before he even started a game.
And the bottom line is this.
He was hoping nobody was going to say that. Look at it.
We're not going to be naive to think that anyone associated with Alabama football at this current present time is not going to reflect them. So the fact that Nick Saban is saying that one coach is doing it the wrong way, but also knowing that his relationship in that community is going to speak volumes to any of those major corporate entities seeking his players for some deals. He can't be naive to think that, even if he is not directly setting up NIL deals or somebody in his office is not directly doing it, indirectly, somebody knows somebody that can vouch for that recruit coming into Alabama that can vouch for this student athlete in Alabama? Say, hey, can I trust this man with this money I'm going to give him? Is he
Can
going
we
to sell
just
you the
talk-
name of the company? Like, let's not be naive to understand how business, how the world reacts. It's about relationships. So Nick can't play that game as if like he's all kosher when, number one, his winning track record speaks for itself. So my question is to Nick, like, what do you want? You got 8, 9 chips. What more do you want, dog? Like, come on.
12, 13.
Like, what are we talking about here,
I
Nick?
mean, let's call a spade a spade. I've told you he has a very totalitarian view on how things are done.
I
It's
love the way you are
totalitarian.
you're so PC about what you're dancing around trying not to say, which I appreciate that.
I
He's
don't know,
adverse
man.
to change. He's adverse to change and progress, is what I would say.
I don't know. Hey, Bays, Chris. You guys are like me. You guys, you guys dabble in social media from time to time, see some
Yeah.
funny things. You ever see those Leo DiCaprio gifts and memes?
I wonder what movie you're referring to.
Kate
Listen.
Winslet's not in this gift for me that I'm talking about. And they're damn sure wasn't no grizzly bear. I can tell you that right now.
Man, listen.
Look,
We all
look,
come
man.
from a similar time of recruiting where there
Oh,
wasn't the NIL deal.
I know it was called boosters.
It was called boosters. And what happened was instead of somebody vouching for this person, and then you get a deal with KFC, what happened during our time, allegedly, is that somebody knows somebody of an auntie, of a cousin who's real close to the family, got a truck that you can have. Or somebody that you know was a friend of somebody else who was cool with somebody, but you got a backpack delivered with a little bit of cash in it. Now, this is me.
I've never received that
This
kind
is
of treatment. I was not a high profile player, so I didn't get any of that kind of treatment.
this is not me.
I had to
This
pay
is
for my
not
Coors
me
Light.
admitting to anything. This is not me or any of the guys on this show admitting to anything.
Those examples were just, they came off the tongue so
No, I'm just
fluently. It was
fine. Since today is the day of dry snitching for Alabama people, I ain't gonna lie. Certain members on this panel took a
No.
visit to Ole Miss,
Don't do it.
and I'm doing it. I'm
Don't
doing
do
it. I'm doing it. Certain members of this panel took a visit to Ole. No, I can't do it actually.
Yeah, don't do it.
it.
Don't do that.
Listen,
Look, man.
we
Look,
just come from a certain time.
Hold on, man. Look. I wore this shirt for a reason. First of all, this is my pizza guy shirt. The wife just walked back in from a beautiful walk around our new neighborhood.
You're so suburban now.
We are, man. We out here straight suburbs. You know, Bay's up there in the Heights. You out there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they call it we up the hill is the term that they use in Billings.
You up the hill. Chris over there on Nina Claire. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on the west end.
His street is
Hate it.
called Nina Claire. If that ain't suburbs, I don't know what is. I live on Dardanelli Lane now. Now listen, the point is this, and it's very simple. Nick Saban believes in this more than anybody.
Yep.
You ain't first, you're last. And what he felt was, here I am. I have the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. I had the best wide receiver in football. I had the best left tackle in football. I had the best defensive player in football. Will Anderson was the best player in the country.
Yeah.
He is. Listen, I'm going to say this because you need to pick me up. That is the reincarnation of Derek Thomas. I have said that since last year, and I'm going to continue to utter those words. Will Anderson will be a Hall of Famer barring injury. He's got that type of motor. It's done. So I'm putting that there first, okay? Because you need a little love right now. But the truth of this is, this ain't nothing but another white man bitching and moaning. That's what all this Nick Saban shit is. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of how competitive this guy is. I know he is. He's so competitive, he cheats in his basketball games. I've seen the stories. They be having to spot Nick Saban 10 to 15. so he can
Are
get
you
it done.
ashamed? Why would you be ashamed of that? Like the competitiveness of it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I got a almost 11-year-old. I'm going to cheat to win. Like, I have to win.
Actually, you just flipped my whole point. So the fact that he already cheats to win, why is he so against other people doing it when he's doing it himself?
Because I'm doing it. What you need to do it for?
I'm talking about Nick Saban.
Because he's doing it. So what you
There's
need to do it
nothing
for?
worse. Listen, there's nothing worse in this world.
Because well, the bully does not like to get bullied.
Exactly.
That is the
Exactly.
main thing.
Can
So
we just call-
someone that's bending the rules to where it's splintering and it's almost about to break, but it doesn't break. He doesn't like that somebody else can do it and probably can do it better at this point in time.
With more resources.
That's why he doesn't like it.
Because I don't know. We can probably compare. I mean, y'all might have a lot more millionaires that have newly formed at Alabama, but I feel like Texas A&M got that old oil field money.
That's oil money, dude. You can't
They
compare
the
the oil
They
money.
got that old like Carnegie Rockefeller.
Alabama may have several wealthy donors, boosters, new millionaires,
Poets
so,
and laureates and all that. Yeah.
So yeah, it could be. So they're in comparison to Texas money, they are rich, where Texas money is more wealth, more longevity in terms of that oil money.
And it's generations of money too.
Yeah.
I personally,
Man,
I
listen.
just love, I love the fact that this dude has had the audacity to get on a stage and feel like he's like waving some sort of victory flag for virtue within the game. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. What, did he see Will Smith get slapped? He's like, you know what? I feel like I should say something for somebody to come up and slap the shit out of me. Is that what happened? Is that what's going on, Chris? This really, like, it's one thing. It's one thing to hate your team, Chris, because you know what? Because it's you. But like, this is a bad look, man. This is like Coach K when the one and dones happen. Like, it's that kind of bad. And that was a bad look for him. It really was. And then he won a title with one and dones. Like, it's like, this is exactly how this looks. Like, it's not a good look for who's supposed to be the pillar of your sport. See, I don't let that go. And Krzyzewski's from Chicago. He's one of ours. And he broke the code. I told you about the code. You don't break the code. You don't do it.
And I've slipped this Alabama ring on and off about 8 or 9 times during this whole conversation. It's off right now. It's off. So that's why it's off right now. So let me give you this. And I said this earlier because I was talking with Anton, because of course he's been the main culprit tagging me crap. What I think this is, and all my teammates who do listen, the couple who do listen, and the people who this is going to get shared to.
Well, they never come on this show now.
Oh yeah,
that's a wrap.
I think this is an old man sensing his mortality. I feel like this is now, he knew he was closer to the end than the beginning before, but now it's more so there's too many things that have changed in the game for him to continue on with what he's doing. He's like that super dictator or authoritarian way. It works on some guys. It does, but more so than not, it doesn't work with these kids now. And I think what you have now is an old man seeing that, all right, well, I can see the light at the end of this tunnel. I got to figure out a way to at least get one more so that there's, and mind you, in a lot of minds, there's no doubt that he's the greatest college football coach of all time. My mind is one of them. And my second person is very close, but it's an old man sensing his mortality. It's an old man who sees that, all right, well, HBCUs are on the rise. My rivals are now essentially like they were my lackeys. Like these are my guys now, are my rivals. And he's now getting to a point where some of these guys that he coached to Heisman's and coached to NFL teams are now coordinators and position coaches for other great teams. So his imprint on the game is undoubtable, but you're now starting to see your mortality, and he's starting to see this shit might be over. I'll never quote that again, but he's starting to see, yeah, I can sense the end. And if the end is coming, I'm going to go out and say whatever I want to say, because at the end of the day, I will go down as one of the greats, if not the greatest. But yeah, the end is coming. So that might have even just been my give me a minute.
That might have been your give me a minute. That was so defeating.
Yeah, it's
I didn't know if I wanted to whoop you until that literally felt like Tyson getting knocked out by Buster Douglas.
It's an old man who senses mortality. Like every last coach of the that upper echelon of coaches goes through. Like Bobby Bowden, Bobby Bowden walked away 2 years too late. Joe Paterno, we won't talk about Joe Paterno.
It's a whole different ball.
That's a whole different thing. But with these great coaches, it seems like all of them are staying like 1-2 years too long. And I think Nick is starting to see the end, but doesn't know when to stop. Because granted, 10 wins for everybody in the country is great, except at Alabama because of the curse that you put there. So winning 10 games, but losing to A&M and losing to a Georgia, mind you, these are your guys you're losing to. Like the programs are built eerily the same, and it's a compliment at the end of the day, but you still got 2 losses, and that's now you went from the Final Four to the Sugar Bowl, I guess, or whatever it may be. And that's not good enough, especially in his eyes.
I got good news for you, buddy. All great things come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
And considering that I was alive and living in the city during the run of the greatest athlete to ever live in our time, I promise you will get to the point where, man, we just made the playoffs. That was amazing. So it's coming for you.
I hate this show. I hate this show.
I just want to reassure you, after about 7-8 years in a row, when you can't even get to the title game and you're getting to the Capital One Bowl, you'll be all right. So don't worry about that. I want to help you with that.
Let me give you this real quick.
If Nick really cared about Alabama, he would retire after this year or next year. If he really cared about Alabama, this will show
honestly
how much he really cares. 3 years?
I think he had 3 years left.
You always want to leave a year before you really can.
Exactly.
Chris, I predicted this. I told you when he said the shit he said about that player, that's when I told you he was losing. He was losing there. Mac Jones bought him 2 years.
Yeah.
Because it was Mac Jones. So it was kind of like, the way that he had one, thanks to Tua saving him, to like, I just won with a 3-star that stayed here and believed in me. So it kind of gave him that renewed fervor, like, yeah, I still got it. Mac Jones is like, he's kind of a diamond within like this era of sports, because he easily could have transferred. I mean, look what Joe Burrow did. He said, man, after 3 years of y'all dogging me, I'm going to go down here where I'm at least start. No, Joe Burrow was there for 3 years. He redshirted, and he was a redshirt sophomore when he left.
Now, mind you, there were some guys in front of Joe Burrow, though. Like there was some college level anyway.
Yeah, college level guys, no doubt about it. And look who the guy is now. The
In the
AFC's a
NFL.
mess. I feel,
Yeah.
but we'll have
That's old.
Dave
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
old.
it. All I'm saying is that I told you when he made those comments about disrespecting his players and said, you know what, coach, for me and what's best for my family, I need to leave now. And he made those comments about, well, I had a kid leave and he was a starting safety to Jaguars. I talked about it on this show. And that's when I told you it was over for him because he's not, you know what? And rightfully so, he's earned the right, in my opinion, to have those bad takes on the kids' lives that he's changed. So he went from the switch to where he was changing lives to thinking that he was an authority on that kid's life. There's a difference. You can't do that.
There's a thin line.
You can be the agent of change that, you have helped a lot of us, be the new foundation in our Black families.
Right.
I love him for that. And I love that he has blessed so many young men with the opportunity with his knowledge of the game. He deserves high marks for that because he's been doing that for a long time. It's just not in Alabama. It's LSU. It's Michigan State. He deserves credit for that. And I would never take away from him. I'll never take away his defensive mindset. I know where that comes from. It comes from Bill Parcells. You thought I was going to say Belichick. It comes from Bill Parcells because that's where that all comes from.
That's the truth.
So I give him all the credit for that. But when he said that shit about that kid making a bad decision, because if he'd have stayed and played for me another year, he'd have been a first rounder. And what's our rule? What is the rule in the Black community? We do
You
not
take the money. No.
talk. Not only do we take the money, we don't talk about other people's fucking money. You don't see. That's my first F-bomb.
No.
You don't do that. Remember when Muhammad grabbed my envelope and my money was on the field? And Muhammad's my boy. Muhammad, I love you. But you broke the code. You don't ever talk about or do anything with anybody else's money.
No.
Unless they give you permission to talk about their money. And as soon as he talked about
and you still don't do it.
And as soon as he did that, and he did that on national television, because when Nick Saban talks, he's on national television.
But the thing about it, Walt, that wasn't to that player. You know who it was to? It was to the rest of his team that was getting the itch that they wanted to jump ship early in his mind. So Nick don't have to say nothing to the media. He does it because he's talking to somebody else that's going to get wind of that. So this particular thing with the whole NIL and they paid X amount of dollars the wrong way, he probably was talking to some boosters and saying, hey, I got to step your game up.
Exactly, because we lose
it. We need to be number one. So if you want me to stay around, I need to have the number one recruiting class like I have had in X amount of years. So he's doing it to make a point.
So you're saying to me, Bays, you are the expert on compliance, period. That's what you studied. That's what you've done great. That's why you have the title of director now. So what you're telling me is that Nick Saban, the college football socialist party leader, like these things that I'm saying are absolutely correct. When I'm saying totalitarian, authoritarian, rule with an iron fist, I don't know, Django Unchained.
I hate this show, dude. Like, I hate this show.
Hey, you wanted me to go wild from time to time. I'm going to go wild. I'm going to call it what it is. Okay? And I love Nick Saban. And if you ask me, he has earned the right. But we know this better than anybody. If you don't have the ability to adapt and change with your circumstances, your ass gonna get stuck.
You know what? That's a very good point. And you just gave me give me a minute. So
I feel good with it. I know y'all got kids. I know it's late there. I should have been 2 hours ago.
Yeah, so. You got to get up early. So America.
Do you need to take a sip for you? I got plenty left. You need to take a sip for you?
Take a sip as I hold this cup by Chris.
Comes by Chris. Hold on. This is Chris Turner's sip for his Give Me a Minute because Lord knows he needs it. Hold on.
As I slip this Alabama ring back on and put these natties back on my back.
Hey, Chris, at the sound of the
All right. America, Alabama, give me a minute. I got my Bama ring back on. All right. So I'm back with it. Listen, he said what he said. It was wrong. It was out of pocket. And for the Black community, the Black recruits, man, listen, he said it. All right, what you gonna do about it? I mean, at the end of the day, for the next 2 to 4 years, that national championship still runs through Alabama, one way or another. Either you got to beat them in the national championship or you got to beat them in the conference to get there. He said what he said. Either you go there and prove them wrong or you go somewhere else and prove them wrong. But whatever the case may be, it is what it is. The main part of this, listen, state of Alabama, Golden Corrals, the Crystals, the BMWs, the farmhands, the ranches and all that. The state does well when Alabama does well.
oh Lord, he's doing this.
So you heard the call to arms. I need everybody to scrap what they can together. We need some tax money, whatever it takes. Because listen,
Are
the
you
better
scared
we
of
do-
Texas A&M? Are you scared of Texas A&M?
I'm gonna tell you the school I'm actually scared of. It's actually Florida. It's not A&M at all, because I don't think Jimbo can compete with itself. Anyway, back to my give me a minute. Listen, when we do well, because we support the entire state with what we bring in, because we got the same commissioners and the same chair board as UAB, that punk ass school in Birmingham, Artavius. So when we do well, we gotta feed UAB. We gotta feed a couple of the HBCUs that are in the state of Alabama. We gotta feed Stetson, that's right in Tuscaloosa as well. So listen, I say all that to say this. Alabama, if you want to continue to eat off the gold-plated plates that have been placed in front of you, if you want to continue to eat surf and turf with Dreamland barbecue sauce, I would have been sponsored by Dreamland too. Anyway, with Dreamland barbecue sauce, then what you need to do is make sure we have what we need at Alabama to win so that you can win. Spend my minute.
Hey, they need to get you. Hey, Bays, I feel that they got a quality control coach spot. Chris Turner be down there.
The spin coach, man.
He earned his
Chris
salary.
Turner, he is a compliance liability. Compliance liability.
Oh,
Unless you're gonna give him one of the main spots so you can keep an eye on him, and then he's gonna have too many eyes for him to mess up. If you give him one of them jobs, you put him on staff and get one of them jobs where there's not a lot of eyes, he's got too much room, too much autonomy to do a lot of things and float in and out of different places. Oh man, all kind of violations gonna happen.
Hey, quality control assistant, man. He'd be a great quality control.
Office with a door and a little bit of space, and I can make magic happen.
Hey,
I do it every day at work.
Hey, I got it. Chris Turner would be the new team chaplain.
That's it. Just give me a little bit of power. Give me a little bit of power. An office with a door, and I can make magic happen.
Hey, give him a confessional room set up.
That's it.
So he can talk. So he can have those conversations. Forgive me, Chaplain Turner, for I have sinned.
And
How'd you
I
mess
will
up the
make
money now?
I will make magic happen.
I need to get another 10 grand. All right, hold on. Let me talk.
I got you. Just hold still. I got you. Don't go nowhere.
Any other sins you want to confess to? Any other football sins? Any other Tuscaloosa sins? Because okay, anyway, I'm gonna get off that right now. Now.
Hey, yeah, because it's. I had so many things get erased.
It's up to you, Director Bazemore. Would you like to close the show, or would you like to go right in the middle?
I'll go in the middle. Yeah, I'll keep it. I'll keep it short and sweet. Oh man, football. college football, professional football. Oh man, I miss you, man. I'm just waiting, counting the days for you to start up training camp, and
2
I can really
days.
get dialed back into to watching sports outside of my school, because this NBA season, man, it's been hit or miss, man. I don't know, and I try to tune into these playoff games, and some have been good, but a lot have been and it's just not enticing me to tune in. I mean, I think I'll tune into the finals. You know, I think
Yeah, can't get out the second round.
I don't
Low blow.
want to get
Low
into the process and the Sixers. I can't really enjoy Jason Tatum's greatness because he should have been wearing the blue, the red,
That's
and the
a
white
very good point.
for the Sixers. I just can't. I can't enjoy that. So the NBA, you know, I'm just waiting for it. I guess I'm gonna see Steph go off for like 30 plus in the championship. That'd be good, you know, Draymond to get another ring, you know, Steph to get a ring. And it brings up the question, is this your king? So your king let another player get 4 chips in his era? Is this
Ooh.
your king? Is that your king? So NBA,
Ooh,
I don't know, man. You know, it's cool.
that's a
I
nice
tune in.
topic.
But football, college football, pro football, I'm just waiting for y'all to come back. So, you know, I can be
I
dialed
like the
back
way he
in.
slipped that in.
Outside of my scope, my bubble. America, that's been my minute.
I like the way he slipped that one in.
Well,
That's
he
a whole
clearly-
topic by itself.
Yeah, he clearly ain't talking to us.
Jesus Christ.
He ain't talking to us. I know
Hold
that for
on.
a fact.
Real quick though.
I know who
Is-
he's talking to. There's some people that he's been around in the last year that have said some things.
If Steph does
He's
get
talking
that,
to my blood. He's talking to my blood is one person he's talking to.
if Steph gets that fourth one, like, is it really still King James though? Like, was
Yeah,
it
That
his?
might be a topic. I might have to bring a fourth person on for that one.
If Steph
I'm
get a
just a
fourth
guy.
ring, if he get a fourth ring, I mean,
Yeah.
was it really LeBron's era? Now, as a player, he'll go down as probably, you know, 1B ultimately, which is respectable. I respect that take, but when you look at the actual facts and you say, why was this player able to eat the way he ate during your era? What is your explanation for that? It
And
can't
Steph-
be, oh, they had a better team, and all those different things. Like the teams you had on paper should have matched up.
You built them.
You helped build these teams. You were instrumental in building all the teams that you played on. So this man has won with different types of teams. Now, him, Clay, Draymond were obviously the main cogs in that. But it's not like there weren't things that happened through injuries, and he was on his way out the league. Truth be told, he was on his way out the league when it was him and Monte Ellis. His ankles were him and Steph and them broke ankles.
Them glass
on their way
ankles.
out the league. Now they stuck with him, which was obviously the right choice. But they got him some new sneakers. They Under Armour redesigned some things. And the rest is history, obviously.
Yeah.
But he was on his way
That's
out the
all.
league. So a player that was on their way out the league, 8 in your era like that, I don't know, man. It's looking kind of suspect. Kaiser Sose.
Looking real unfamiliar.
I can't wait to talk about that in another episode. I might get any of my chips on that. Or you can go listen to past episodes of What's Good America, because I'm pretty sure I've touched on that whole debate 1,000 times. Love it, Bays. I am going to bookend this after 2 very good give me a minute. Chris, loved your soliloquy to the state of Alabama like you ain't from Jacksonville. That was great. Mike Bazemore, loved what you said right there, tied a lot of things in there. Said, what the hell's going on with the NBA? But at the same time said, you know what? The NBA is still a topic. I respect that. So I'll take my last sip.
What are you drinking, by the way?
I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh my God.
America.
Oh God.
Give me a minute.
Kirkland vodka.
Chris Turner just took my thunder. Right, I was coming in. America, we are broke yet again. And it's the summertime. So you know, Bays, you know what we drink in the summertime. Like, you know, when the weather's right, what we drinking? We drinking that clear. We drinking that vodka. So we back
Vodka wines.
Hey, we back at them $12.99 bottles. Kirkland, anytime you want to give What's Good America a sponsor, I mean $12.99, I would appreciate if I could just get a free bottle every month. I know Chris and Bays would love it. And I know it's actually the high quality of the high quality. It's the high quality that doesn't get to the high quality bottles, it goes into their bottles. So I want to shout out Kirk. The next thing I want to shout out, and I want to put this to the group here, it might give me a minute. There's a topic that I've been wanting to do with the three of us. Chris knows this, Bays. I think I've talked to you about this. The next time the three of us are on the screen together, and we can do this in the next couple of days or whatever. But Mike Bazemore, how do you feel about having a true debate? Greater dance sequence scene. The intro of, oh God, I lost it. What's the name of that movie? Oh yeah, the intro of Stomp the Yard, or the ending of You Got Served. How do you feel about that as our next topic? I've been wanting to do that one because we've had conversation where people want us to get into a little bit more pop culture here and there. And Mike Bazemore, who has, when we did our great episode about, what was the topic, Chris? It was,
It wasn't dance movies. It was.
no, it was just like our I can't think of the term. You know what I'm saying? Like fetish is too far with three grown ass dudes that are married. That's not the word I want to go with. But you know, it's like your taboo thing or your hidden guilty pleasure. That's
Guilty
what it was.
pleasure.
I got there.
Yep.
Your guilty pleasure thing. And remember, Bays talked about, and you go look at old
dance
baseball.
movies.
Dance movies. So I was like,
Hey,
I would love for Bays to get into a topic about dance movies. And
I'm about to go watch Sneakerella. That's already queued up on
Oh,
Disney
see?
Plus.
Christ, there we
See?
go. See, don't.
Oh yeah, that's queued up, baby. Sneakerella. You
So
already know.
I would actually like to do a dance movie topic. I'd like to lead with those scenes, because I think those are two of the most epic scenes in dance movie history.
You can't
That
really
intro-
compare those though, because
Well, I don't want to start. All right, keep the thought.
Oh, yeah.
Do-
okay.
do you want- Would you
You
like
see,
that to
look.
be our next topic?
Yeah, we can. You see, I was about to break it down as an analyst. I'm like,
See?
yeah.
All right. So America,
Yeah.
your next topic with
I like
right
breaking
here
it, man.
with
Breaking
the,
is mine.
with the
Like,
tremendous trio is going to be not only those two scenes, but we are going to fulfill Mike Bazemore's guilty pleasure topic. We're going to talk about dance movies. That's going to be pop culture. We're going to have a good time with that one. Might do a little
There we go.
research. Okay. And then last and certainly not least, and might give me a minute, I think it's very simply this, America. It's never going to get easy. Doesn't matter what it is, what you do. It's never going to get easy. It really is. So I'm going to very simply say this. And this is not going to be like some sort of like, oh, kumbaya speech. I'm just going to tell the truth. You need to give people due and give their flowers when it's time. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say some controversial things about things within the sports and pop culture world, which are our main topics. As of right now, until I have more listens, Jack Harlow's album is better than Kendrick Lamar's album. And that is a damn shame that I'm saying that. Kendrick Lamar is my favorite rapper of the 2000s.
I agree.
Since 2008. Jack Harlow has the best rap album out. Period.
I disagree. But go ahead.
Why no? And you don't count because you put your Alabama ring back on. So I don't want to hear from you during my give me a minute.
My bad.
And petty does not mean great rap album. So I don't want to hear none of that future bullshit. Listen, even my wife.
I gotta
Listen.
listen to Jack Harlow's. I haven't heard it yet.
You need to go listen to that Jack Harlow.
Nah,
I'm
it's
gonna shout
dope.
the
I
wife
haven't
out.
heard it yet.
The wife,
Go ahead and
the
listen to
wife
that
put me
thing.
on the Jack Harlow, and that Jack Harlow goes. It goes.
It's dope.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, in regards to Future, respect him as an artist. But at the end of the day, he I don't care how petty anything is. You don't get no run with somebody like me. You let that go. The older she gets, the finer she gets. He's an idiot. I don't care. Period. I don't care. I don't care. Good for Russ. Good for Future Junior. Good for them. You know what? That's where I'm at.
Future Junior.
Okay? So I'm gonna leave that there.
Turn up every bitch
I
into
don't
a
care if
pop
they got
star.
their asses beat tonight. You will respect Jimmy Butler. You understand me, America?
Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Butler finds a way to win this finals. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I don't want to hear anything else out of anybody. The end. Done with that. Let's tell the truth, America. There's a lot of you out there. As Mike Baismer talks about the NBA, the most compelling story is, without a doubt, the Golden State Dallas Mavericks series. For two reasons. Bay's already addressed it. We're going to do that on a different show, and I'm going to bring in a fourth person about the topic that he brought from that series. The other topic is what I want to talk about, and I don't have a problem with this. Luka Doncic is here. And I'm going to tell you right now, Adam Silver has been praying to all that he prays to, that this kid can be exactly what he's doing right now. It's only going to take one title. All it took was Dirk. All it took was Bird. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't understand what I'm saying, I know that there's a lot of people invested in the Dallas series. I'm going to leave that at that. Put your hand down. I'm not done. Finally, America, be on the lookout. The What's Good America apparel is coming this summer. Me and Chris Turner have had talks off the air. I believe Mike Bazemore has earned a free t-shirt. He is the third member of this team, but the t-shirts and the gear is coming. We need y'all to come support us, because the more you support us, the more wild shit we can do. That's all I'm saying. Look for that apparel. Help us out, or start watching our YouTube videos. One way or another, me and Chris Turner are getting to the point where even our associates like, hey man, are y'all ever gonna break the glass ceiling and start doing something so we can benefit from it? I mean, I called into this call, America. Mike Bazemore had his stud inside linebacker son in his arms. He's like, man, I tried to put him to bed to do this show for you tonight. We've had a lot of people sacrifice to get us to this point. I'm coming to the fan base. If you guys don't follow us, you don't comment back to us on Facebook, you don't do these things, we're just gonna be two beautiful old ass black men talking shit for 50 years. And nobody's gonna get anything from that. If we get famous, you get famous, because we ain't the type of mugs that's gonna leave people in the dust.
I am.
I'm not. I already
So
live in
Hollywood.
California. I'm halfway there, Chris. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
I will move. No, I will move to Bozeman, Big Sky, right next to Tom Hanks and Justin Timberlake, and none of you coloreds will have my address.
I better have your address, especially if you're hanging out with Timberlake.
Me and Jay Teasy.
Shout out Timberlake, shout out Jessica Biel, shout out Kelly Clarkson, shout out everybody living up there in Big Sky. At the end of the
Tom
day,
Hanks.
America, shout out Tom Hanks, shout out Colin Hanks, shout out Rita Wilson. At the end of the day,
Shout out Chetty Hanks, Chet.
shout out Chet Hanks. At the end of the day,
Wang Wang, brethren.
what you've gotten from this beautiful segment of time is this. Chris Turner has had to really look into the mirror, and he has chosen his side. Obviously, Alabama means more to him than the state of Florida, period. He made that choice. Mike Bazemore is still the voice of reason on this show. And lastly, I just love when I have a chance to be petty and make Chris Turner laugh really hard. That's what makes this show go around, America. And here we are at the end. That's been my, give me a minute.
So, folks, thanks once again for tuning in to What's Good America. I am C. Turner from the University of Alabama. That is James Truman State Walton III. That is Director Michael A. Bazemore from the illustrious coaching tree of Nick Saban of Michigan State University. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, everything. We got everything going back to day one a couple years ago, the beginning of the pandemic, back when it was called the China flu, all that stuff. Make sure you go back and check it out on YouTube. Make sure you go check it back on Spotify. Make sure you check
Listen,
it
the
back
Saban thing is a
God does not like ugly.
Can you apologize again? Like, we do have
God
Asian
does not like ugly.
followers, man. Like, why do you keep doing that?
I'm
Apologize for that. You need to apologize. Like,
I'm
you
sorry.
can't keep doing that.
It's not called the China flu. That was from an ignorant man of power, and you elected him as president. And you're probably going to do it again next year. Either way, I just want to send a special shout out to everybody who's been liking our stuff, following, subscribing, sending questions. Anybody who has sent in questions, sent in topics and everything, we appreciate you. But Michael A. Bazemore, we do appreciate you always being the third member of this team. Well, I do.
I did. I did. What's good, America?
What's good, America?